Well, well, well. It looks like I've got my friends here from pretty much everywhere, I guess. Welcome to the Legally Armed America Friday Night live stream. I guess that's kind of redundant. I'm going to do like we always do, guys. I'm going to log into the system here so I can get most of what the comments and all that you guys are talking about. I've noticed here recently that I have not been quite so good at let me raise my stool up here. I've probably not been so good at reading you guys' comments, so I'm going to make a very strong attempt to do that here tonight. I'm probably in my last week of my old bootleg air conditioner over here. My new split unit should be in the world's only above ground, underground bunker next week. And again, I'm trying to log in here, guys. So give me 1 second here. If you have cold beer, get a cold beer. We have an hour to talk here. In my opinion, it's going to be a great hour because I have a lot to go over. I have 2 beers here tonight with me, so I'm expecting to drag this on a little bit longer tonight. Nevertheless, it's gonna be a fun time, and I have some cool stuff to show y'all. I actually have cool stuff tonight that I'm gonna like show everybody, like physically. I have stuff here tonight, so this is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I have my iPad here so I can read you guys' comments as they come up. And let me finish unpacking my stuff real quick. You probably can see the sign so you know what I'm doing. It doesn't matter, I'm doing it anyway. And that's gonna go right there so that I can read everything. All right. Welcome again, guys, to the Legally Armed America Friday Night Live. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow. Thank you so much for joining us. It's gonna be a fun night here. I have some cool stuff to announce. I have some serious stuff to talk about, fun stuff to talk about, and you know what? We're going to make the most of it. Simply because I've got cold beer, and I hope you do too. If you don't have cold beer or a good drink, wine, whiskey, go get something right now. I'll wait on you. Okay? Real quick word. A lot of people ask me why they see me drinking 2 different types of beer. My favorite beverage of choice whenever I'm trying to have a good time and hang out with my partners and whatnot, my preferred beer is a Shiner Bock. I love the yellow label Shiner Bock, the original Shiner Bock. That's my favorite beer. However, I prefer a neutered beer whenever I'm going to be drinking a lot. Tonight I plan on drinking a lot. So I'm drinking a Coors Light. People ask me, man, how do you make that connection between Coors Light and Shiner Bock? Well, it's a matter of being prepared and knowing what my limits are. I can't drink Shiner Bock like all night long or whatever. So, sorry. I could back in the day. I can't do it now. So, okay, you guys have started rolling in. Let me get to some shout outs to you all. Daniel Waters, good to see you, bud. Ronnie Smith, Midnight Range TM, good to see you, buddy. Monty M, Tyler Warren, Glenn Betts, Shane Willis, Jay Grip, what's up, dude? Kenny Statler, or Stouter. Every time I see that, I think of Kenny Stabler, and I'm like, whoa, because I know Kenny Stabler's dead. But anyway, cool. Thanks for joining us, Kenny. Timothy Colbreth, Outdoors with Tim, what's going on, man? Z50, Ronnie Smith. Let's see, E-Rock, Monty M, Jason Fisher. Greetings from Vancouver. Dude, what is y'all's Prime Minister doing in Canada? He outlawed everything today that was worth taking to the gun range. Jeez. Of course, I don't need to tell you this. You guys have a clown of a prime minister. Let's see, Rockin' Bear Bell, good evening. Good to see you too, brother. Let's see, Ashley Lecomte, good to see you as well. Haven't seen you in a while. Life has gotten better for me. Hope the same for y'all. We're doing great down here in South Louisiana. Ashley, I hope you are as well. Hello from Las Vegas. I saw some footage from Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. That blew my mind. I've never seen a street, an alley, a sidewalk, or anything in Las Vegas where nobody was on it. And I saw miles of it the other day. Blew my mind. Crazy stuff going on. Let's see. Keith the Faith, what's up? From Arizona. Good to see you, man. What's happening, Brent? Brent Flash is in the house. Burk it out. Let's see. Ashley is from South Alabama. Good to see you guys. Jason Fisher is in Washington State. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. You guys got it going on up there in a wrong kind of way. Devin Schroeder says, hello from Phoenix, Arizona. Paul, if you ever make it out here, beer's on me. I will take you up on that. I was actually supposed to be in Phoenix, Arizona, March the 23rd. I was going out there to do some filming with a couple of gun manufacturers. We were going to do all kind of stuff. We had actually reserved a portion of the desert out there that we were going to be shooting flamethrowers, machine guns, all kinds of stuff. And then this stuff hit the week before that. And I had actually, and it might have been you, I don't really remember, to be honest with you. A couple of people had emailed me and texted me. We were going to try to meet up at a bar out there in Phoenix, Arizona, on the north side of Phoenix. And a group of people that kind of, like us, that all think alike, we were going to try to meet up there and have some beers. And then all this went down. So hopefully I can rekindle that and get back out there and have some beers and enjoy some good conversation with you guys at some point. Mr. F&H, what's going on, dude? Timbo, Tony Lawrence, Chris Bizzle. Let's see. Let me get down here real quick. I'm going to finish this up. Sean, let's see. Let me get this right. Sean's ride is slow, I think. What's up, man? Eric Davis, what's going on? Paul Woodall, what's happening, dude? Jason Lee, Monty M, the Archangel, Peter Lemon, Seahawk, let me get this right, Seahawk Brisnio. Hello from Washington State. Good to see more people from Washington State. Hopefully you guys hang out with us tonight. Taking no shit, Bradley Tannehill, Carbine Phantom, Keep the Faith. I got you already. All right, guys, let me get into it. A lot of stuff going on this week. I wouldn't say bad stuff. Some of it's good. Country's getting back to work. I've seen a lot of people that have kind of succumbed to the whole I'm a rat, I'm gonna be a rat kind of thing. Ratting your fellow brothers out, and your fellow neighbor out, your brother, your neighbor, your coworker. Come on, man. What do you have to gain by that? Seriously, what do you possibly have to gain by ratting somebody out who is going to do something to feed their family? None of us go to work because we absolutely enjoy it, because it's the greatest thing ever. None of us do that. We go to work because it is a necessity, and we're feeding our desire to feed our families. So when you rat somebody out for going to work because you don't think they're non-essential, you're making a judgment call on them. And they have already made a judgment call that they need to feed their family. Don't do that. I rarely tell people on this channel what to do. Don't do that. And if there's any kids in the room, get them out now, because I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to get your kids out of the room. Get your kids out of the room, and I'm going to say something I usually don't say on my live streams or any of my videos. So you got about 7 seconds now. Get your kids out of the room. 4 or 5 seconds. Get the kids out. All right. If the kids aren't out, I gave you a chance. Don't be a chicken shit. Do not be a chicken shit rat bastard, because why would you do that? Why is it your decision to decide if my family is important enough for me to go work to feed them? When you were accepting that extra $600 on your unemployment, I didn't judge you. I didn't say that you don't deserve that. I didn't say you shouldn't have that to feed your family. So if I'm not getting that $600 extra per week that the government is giving you just for being alive, just for breathing, why are you judging me? Because I'm actually getting off of my fat ass to go work for a living, and it's not hurting you at all. Oh, it might be hurting you? Really? COVID-19, coronavirus? Let me explain something to you. Most of us who fit within this little box where we're responsible enough to act like adults. I said this last week and I'm going to say it again. Whenever I feel the need to go out in public, let's say for some reason I've got the flu, or I think I have the flu, or I have a scratchiness in my throat, so I feel like I may have a cough, but I'm not sure if it's allergies, a cold, or just a sore throat. So what do I do as a responsible adult under normal circumstances, not this crazy whacked out crap they got going on right now? What I do is, as a responsible adult, because I'm not sure and I can't identify what the scratchiness is in the back of my throat, I go out into public, and whenever somebody puts their hand out to shake my hand, I say, you know, I would shake your hand, but I have a scratchiness in my throat, so we're just going to kind of do a fake fist bump or elbow bump or something like that, because I'm not sure what I have, and I don't want to give it to you. And it doesn't stop there. I keep my distance because I'm not quite sure if I'm contagious with something that I may or may not have, so I keep my distance. I don't cough in your direction. I don't sneeze in your direction. If I cough or sneeze, it's in a sleeve. It's in my hands off to the side, because remember, I'm not shaking your hand anyway. I do all these things under normal circumstances without the freaking government telling me that's how I should do it. You know why? Because I'm not stupid. I don't need the federal government, the state government, the local government telling me, Paul, when you get sick, you really don't want to spread it to other people, so these are the things that you do. I don't need that. Again, I'm not stupid. But we have essentially the same thing going on right now, so we allow the government to tell us to stay home, and then to do these things on top of that. Well, there's so much bad information, and I challenge anybody to challenge what I'm saying about there being bad information. No one can deny the amount of bad information that we've all been given. No one can deny the projections were all wrong. The assumptions were all wrong. Everything has been wrong to the point of being exaggerated to where it's all BS. And you can let the kids back in the room now if you want to, because I'm not going to swear anymore. I know that wasn't horrible what I said, but I do try to keep my, at least my sanity about myself whenever it comes to potentially having children in the room. There have been times when we have live streams. I don't swear on any of my videos because they do go on network television, but there have been times where I have sworn on live streams, and I try not to do that. But when I've done that, people have told me, hey, I had my kids in the room watching with me, so my bad on that. I did try to warn you. I did try to apologize. No more swearing from here on out. But guys, come on. I don't need the federal government telling me what gun I need to have, what ammo I need to have, how to store my gun, how to wear my gun, how to present my gun, how to shoot my gun. And I also don't need the federal government telling me where I can go, where I can shop, what I need to wear when I go. Like I said last week, and again, I'm going to repeat some of the things from last week, but we have some new viewers in here tonight. Right off the bat, if you guys will remember, right off the bat, the federal government and everybody else under the sun sat back and told us, you don't need a mask. Paul, don't wear a mask because the mask does nothing to protect you if you're not already infected. The mask is only there to protect everybody else if you're infected. So only the infected people need to wear the mask. Remember what I said earlier, that I'm not stupid? My guess is many of you aren't either, and you probably looked at that and said, what the F? Why do doctors and nurses wear masks when they're not infected, but they're dealing with it, potentially infected patients? You know why? Because the freaking mask protects them. Now, I get why the government told me that, and I get why the government told you that. Because they didn't want us buying up all the stock, and they didn't want all of us using everything out there so that potential doctors and nurses and whatnot could not use that. I understand that. I totally get it. You can tell me that. I'm a big boy. You can actually tell me, Paul, I don't want you buying up everything, so if you don't mind, only if you really need something, that's when you buy it. That's when you get the face mask, whatever. Hang on a second, guys. So, when the government lies to me, I should say, and tells me that, Paul, you don't need a mask because it does not protect you. And then 4 weeks later, they are literally telling you and I, everybody should wear a mask when you go out in the public. Really? Okay, don't lie to me. I know the government lies to me all the time, but don't make it so obvious. Don't make it so easy. So from that point, I have distrusted the federal government and local and state government on top of that from the get-go. Our governor here in the great state of Louisiana, let's see, Friday, a week ago today, he came out and said, actually, let me back up a second. He had a meeting with state representatives. And I know some state representatives in our state. And he told them that we are going to open up next week. Everything's going to be open back up. We're going to have some minor restrictions, but everything's going to be good. We're not going to extend the shutdown. Hours later, he went on TV and told everybody that he was extending the shutdown to May 15th, over 2 weeks farther than what he actually told everybody in this closed door meeting. I understand when politicians lie to us because they think we're all stupid. But when politicians lie to other politicians, that's some dirty stuff right there. That's really dirty. I mean, really, come on, guys. You and I know they're lying to us. I know they're lying to us. You know they're lying to us. We're used to being lied to. They're politicians. They lie. But I almost assumed at some point that there was a code amongst them where when they were together that they at least told themselves the truth amongst them. Because let's face it, they're kind of all on the same side anyway. But now they've resorted to lying to each other. That's just dirty. Can you imagine the betrayal that a politician has, knowing that he's a liar, but he's thinking that when he's talking to all these other liars that, well, I'm on their side, so they're not going to lie to me. And then they lie to you. Can you imagine the level of betrayal they feel? Because they're pretty sure this person's telling the truth because they're all a bunch of liars. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with here in Louisiana. So it's kind of a, I'm not going to say the word, but it's an S show right now in Louisiana. because a lot of the people are trying to recall that whole decision that the governor made, which it'll take a week or two anyway, so it's not going to open anything up any sooner. I will tell you guys that I have a construction business and a retail store down here in South Louisiana. I didn't close for 1 minute, and I haven't stopped working for 1 minute. I had somebody tell me, what if the mayor takes your license from you? I told them, if the mayor takes my occupational or my operational license from me, from operating down here in South Louisiana, I will own this city whenever all this crap's over with. Because constitutionally, he cannot close my business down. He cannot make my employees unemployed based on what he thinks he can do, because he does not have the constitutional right to do that. And I have the fortitude to where I would wait it out. Yeah, I'd probably be in a bind right at first. I would let them infringe upon my rights, and then I would take their butts to the Supreme Court. And in the end, and it would take some time and some money, I would emerge victorious. I absolutely would. So my point to you guys, don't let this happen to you. If you have people in your area telling you you have to stay home, you need to challenge that. I really feel that way. This is not right, what they're trying to do. We need to be able to go about our business and do whatever we need to do. Open your businesses up. Nobody can legally shut you down. There's some states out there doing things that they are not legally doing. They cannot do it based on the Constitution of the United States. And don't let them throw you, oh, this is a state of emergency. Guys, they throw that around very loosely. A true state of emergency is a big deal. This is not a state of emergency. This is not. And anybody that disagrees with me, I respect your opinion, but I respect your opinion. There's too much crazy stuff going on. I have found that, and I'm going to tell you guys firsthand, I've seen this. The biggest mouths out there that are promoting the chant and the whole argument that we should do this, we should stay out for however long it takes, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. We should just stay out of work. We should all stay home. We should do whatever the government tells us to do. You know who most of those people are outside of Democrats, outside of liberals? Most of those people are people who were already on unemployment. In the state of Louisiana, you get $267 a week. That is an incentive to go back to work, because $267 a week ain't paying for much. When the federal government gave those people an extra $600 a month, and now they're making $867 a week, a week, I'm sorry. 867 bones a week is enough to make you want to stay home if you have that in you to be that kind of a person. That's an incentive. The other people that I have found that say, we ought to stay home for as long as the government tells us we need to. That's the people who are lucky enough to have a full-time job that they've been in a long time, where that job is now paying them still a completely full salary, 40 hours a week paycheck. No questions asked for however long this lasts. Well, of course they want to ride that out. They're making a full salary and they're not doing anything. Why would you ever beat your chest and ask to go back to work? I mean, I would, because I'm a decent American and I don't steal. But a lot of these people out there who have full-time jobs, making a full salary, sitting on their fat asses at home, excuse me if the kids are back in the room, those people are perfectly fine with staying home. Now, they want to act like us. They want to act like me and you and say, we need to get back to work, but we need to do it responsibly. Of course they do. They don't want to rush back to work. They're getting a big fat paycheck and they're not having to do anything. That's the two people that I've seen more than anything who are leading this charge about we don't need to rush it. We don't need to get back to work too soon. I read on a friend of mine's Facebook page earlier today that one of his friends, a person whom I know, that I had no idea this person was like that, was suggesting that we stay out of work for another 4 to 6 months. That's the exact same person who is either getting a full paycheck, or when the unemployment benefits run out, they plan on standing out there with their kids in each arm, holding them, looking all starved and everything, with a dirty, crappy diaper, and saying, my kids are hungry. I can't feed my family because you're making me stay home. That's the kind of person that we're dealing with, guys. There's no one that owns their own business. Nobody. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. I live in a decent sized metropolitan area, not like New York or Houston or whatever. Lake Charles is, a little bit over 250,000 people who live in this general area. I know 0 business owners who have said, we need to wait this out. We need to ride this out for as long as we can, and let's let the federal government tell us how long we need to stay out. I ain't seen that. You know why? Because they're not getting a free ride. They're not getting that gravy train that all these other people that are begging to stay home are getting. The true working men are out there either working now or they're wanting to get out there and work. And all these people are shaming them, acting like they should stay home. Now, I'm going to make this connection between the supposed, alleged pro-Second Amendment supporters out there and the supposed, alleged COVID-19 people out there. I see a bunch of COVID-19 people. In many cases, I have seen this where they're actually pro-gun people. They're not sticking to the principles that they speak about on the Second Amendment at all. Whenever the anti-gun left lashes out at us, for whatever reason, whether it's a mass shooting or whatever, they start throwing all these guilt trip things at us like, oh, I guess human life doesn't mean anything to you. I guess you don't care about your human brother. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness must not mean anything to you. Now, they say that whenever we sit here and champion our cause about the Second Amendment. They're also saying that about COVID-19. Whenever I say something about liberty and freedoms of getting out there, they tell me life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I read this earlier today where they said, you can't have two without the other one. Meaning if you're dead, you can't have liberty and happiness. But weren't you saying the same thing about guns? Didn't you say that we should have that same freedom to choose on guns? Now, I know what you're thinking. COVID-19 and guns are not the same thing. I agree with that. I totally agree. But we're talking about liberty here. We're talking about liberty. We're not talking about guns. We're not really talking about COVID-19. We're talking about liberty. The freedom to do what you want to do. The freedom to not be told by the federal government, the state government, or the local government to do something a certain way. You do it your way. Why? You're a free man. But we're seeing that where people now are trying to shame people like me for going out. Oh, you're endangering other people. Really? That's the same argument that I hear from the anti-gun left because I carry a gun on my hip. That now I'm endangering people because I have a gun on my hip. It's the same stupid thing. Oh, well, it's different. COVID-19 you can spread to somebody. I could shoot anybody if I wanted to, but I don't. Because I'm responsible. So I don't shoot people with my gun because I'm a responsible gun owner. And guess what else I don't do? I don't spread COVID-19. You want to know how I don't do that? It's because I don't get in people's faces. I don't spit in your face. I know that there's something going on right now. I'm an adult. I'm a responsible adult. So I don't shake your hand. I don't cough in your face. I don't spit in your face. I don't sneeze in your face. I keep my distance. If you sneeze, I back off and I turn away. When I'm touching door handles, touching whatever I'm touching in public, I put hand sanitizer on my hands. I wash my hands. It's no different than me having a gun and not letting my kid play with it, and not going out in public and just flashing people with the muzzle of my gun. You know why? I'm a freaking responsible adult. I don't need the federal government telling me, don't point your gun at people. Nah, dude, I got this. I don't need you telling me not to point my gun at people any more than I need you telling me don't sneeze on somebody. I'm going to back it up again. I'm not stupid. So why are we acting like the general public is this stupid? I get it. We vote a lot of stupid people into office. It makes us look kind of stupid. But in general, as a whole, we're not stupid. The simple things that we do to not shoot ourselves, to not shoot our family, to not shoot our friends, are the same type of responsible things that normal adults should already be doing when it comes to some stupid virus that's out there. I don't care how contagious or deadly it might actually be, because I'm not convinced it's as contagious or deadly as it is, that they say that it is. But regardless of that, I don't care how, unless I'm 30 feet from you and I can get it, it ain't that contagious for me. And I can promise you this, if you get a picture of me wearing a mask, hold on to it, because that's a rare picture. Because the only time I wear a mask is Halloween. You ain't seen me with a mask. And I can promise you one thing, our little punk, fat, pasty white mayor here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, trying to put out some kind of little resolution or some kind of statement saying that if you're going to be dealing with the general public, that you need to wear a mask, get the kids out of the room real quick or hide their eyes. That's what you're going to get from me. You don't get to tell me that I have to wear a mask on my face. Again, I am a grown-ass man. You don't tell me what I'm going to be doing. You don't tell me what I'm going to wear. You don't tell me where I'm going to wear it. I know my rights. You don't have the luxury of telling me that. I don't care how much another mayor or somebody else, your homeboy or somebody told you, you the mayor. You can tell them this, you're the mayor. No, you can't. Come to me and tell me what I'm supposed to wear, and I will put that in your face. You're not going to do that. You have no right to do that. You have no authority to do that. You have no legal backing to do that. You will get filed, or at least have a civil rights lawsuit filed on your fat ass so quick that your head will spin around like you were in Exorcist 2 or 3 or 4, whatever the really bad renditions of that series was. You don't get the right, you don't have the right. You don't get to tell me what I can wear, where I have to wear it, or anything like that. It's so frustrating that people think that their local government can tell them these things. Now, I will say this, and you guys know I've been hard on Donald Trump because he does not support the Second Amendment like we do. And those of you that are in here who think he does, he doesn't. Come on, we're not going to get into that argument. Donald Trump, I think in his mind, wants to support the Second Amendment, but he doesn't understand the Second Amendment culture like we do. He's on the outside looking in. However, I'm going to have to give Donald Trump credit here. Donald Trump was smart, that he did not try to overstep his own authority and tell the states what they had to do. Now, he acted like it. He talked about it like when he was talking about to Cuomo and some of them other guys about how if I decide to do this, I have the authority to do it, you don't. Okay, he knew he didn't. That's why within a day or two, he punted it to the states and said, y'all decide whatever y'all want. It's not my call to make. I'm just telling you what I would do. You do whatever you want. I got to give him credit for that. You know why? Because he's got no authority. Donald Trump cannot tell me to wear a mask. He cannot tell me to stay home. He cannot tell me to not open my business any more than the governor or the mayor can. So, I'm not going to log from day one. You want to know how long my business got shut down? I wish I could make a bigger zero than this. This many hours is how many hours. This many minutes is how many minutes my business got shut down. You know why? Because of that attitude right there. I know my rights. The federal government, the state government, the local government does not tell me what to do, because I have the Constitution in my corner and I know what my rights are. And I didn't close for one moment because I know that those people cannot end the livelihood and take food off the table of people who depend on me to put food on their own table. You don't get to choose who eats first when it comes to my business. When it comes to my family and my workers, no government entity decides who gets to eat first when it comes to my book. All right, guys? We all ought to think like that. Look, guys, just call their bluff. The federal, state, and local government, they don't have the power to do these things. All you have to do whenever they challenge you is say, I'm not doing that. It's just, it's so frustrating because I have seen so many people just roll over and take it. It's the most disheartening thing I've ever seen. And so many of them are, again, some of our pro-Second Amendment people who are on our channels, who talk to us, who get on our pages and our social medias, and they pump their fists and talk about how tough they are and how nobody's going to tell them what to do. And they're out there, neighbors and their brothers and their friends, doing things out in public that's not harming anyone. It's just that they're taking advantage on ratting people out. Why would you do that? It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I'm going to move on to something else real quick. I am going to open this beer. Cheers. Let's see. For those of you guys who are in Louisiana, I got something really cool in today. Really cool. It's a Louisiana thing, so you guys got to bear with me. Not just an LSU helmet. It is an LSU helmet with number 9, Joe Burrow's autograph on it, and it says 19 champs. This was signed by Joe Burrow, the quarterback of the LSU Tigers, who went to the Cincinnati Bengals as the number 1 overall pick. I sat there the day before the draft, and I kept listening. I was like, wait a minute. Is Joe Burrow going to go number 1 or not? I really wanted to see if he was going to go number 1. And at the time, you could get these helmets, I wouldn't say pretty cheap, but you could get them a whole lot cheaper back then, the day before the draft, than you could today. Because he hadn't been drafted yet. So I bought this. And I was kind of freaking out because it was supposed to be here like Monday or Tuesday, and it hadn't come in yet. I was like, great. I finally got one at a decent price that is worth at least $300 or $400 now than what it was back when I bought it. And I'm not going to get it. Came in today. It's 3 or 4 days late. But anyway, I got it. I'm excited about this. This makes me happy. This makes me real happy. This is cool. Again, it's got Joe Burrow's autograph, and let's see, 19 champs on the front of it there. Really cool. Other stuff to show you. Oh, I got it out already. Let's see here. I got a lot of cool stuff sent to me this week. A lot of things that I'm working with. This is something that I'm kind of excited about. This is the Ruger 57. I know everybody's already talking about the Ruger 57. Where have you been, Paul? I've been right here. I've been waiting on this to show up. I took my FN 5.7 off the wall over there that I've had for about 5 years, and never once have I shot it. Took it off the wall. I'm going to do a review, a comparison between the Ruger 57 and the FN 5.7. And on top of that, check this out. This same week, I got, it's something to do with the 5.7 round, I can promise you that. CMMG sent me their assembly. I think it's 8.5 inches, something like that. It's got a break on the front of it. I didn't bring it up here. They sent me one that's a conversion kit to go on a standard AR-15 with a normal size, standard size magwell. Actually, other than the cutaways, look just like this. You could put it on this. Really, really cool. And it accepts their proprietary 5.7 magazines, 5.7 by 28 magazines. So I've got that too. So this coming week, I'm going to be doing some cool stuff. You're going to see some reviews of the Ruger 57, the CMG conversion kit to the 5.7 from an AR-15 standard ammunition. So I'm going to do all of that this coming week. So I got some really cool technical videos coming out this week. I know a lot of my videos recently have been political in nature, mainly because of all the crap going on and all the things, HR 5717, which I've got video, probably at least one of that's going to come out this coming week. But again, look for some cool stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to the range. I've been going out to the range, and I've been, trying to keep, kind of fresh on my draw and things like that. But I'm trying not right now to burn through too much of my ammunition, because I don't know when it can be replenished. I mean, let's face it, guys. I mean, there's certain gun companies here in the Lake area where I live, in the Lake Charles, Louisiana area. Gator Guns, the Gun Cave over in Lake Charles. These guys have been really good to me by getting some ammunition for me. In fact, I haven't been by Action Arms, but Jared, I'm gonna go by you guys' place too. I'm trying to kind of do what I can to, when people are stocking something, trying to make my way over to their places and make sure that these local businesses who are opening up are getting, at least some reason to stay open. But it's finally to the point now where I feel like we're going to start seeing more of an influx of the 9mm. 9mm is tough to find right now, let's face it, it is. 22 used to be kind of weird to get during the Obama run on ammunition, but oddly enough, if you look hard enough, you'll find the 22. It's out there. All right, guys, I'm going to run to your stuff now and see if I can't scroll through your comments. If y'all would, as always, try to send me some questions like right now, since I'm not gonna have time to scroll all the way up and read all of your older comments and your older questions. Let's spend, we've got, where's my clock? We've got 15 minutes. I'd like to spend the last 15 minutes engaging with you guys and talking to you guys, if you don't mind. So if you would, when you're sending a comment directly to me, because I see you're having a lot of side conversations amongst yourselves, send it to @Legally Armed America, the @ sign, and then Legally Armed America, so that it's highlighted and it stands out whenever it's coming across and I can see that you're addressing me. Let's see, guys. Mr. F&H, yes, I have bullets. I actually, and I don't think anybody on here, well, Brent's on here. Brent remembers, my good old buddy. My friend who used to own Gator Guns in Sulphur, Louisiana, it was a weird relationship that I had with the guy because he was quite a bit older than me, but I considered him one of my best friends. He was one of those kind of guys that during the day I would get a text from him, call me when you get a second, just out of the blue. I shot IPSC with him. I would go to the range and just shoot with him. He was a friend. Very knowledgeable guy. Knew everything about guns. I learned so much about guns from him. Richard Pursuti was his name. In fact, it's been almost 2 years next month that he died. Was a very good friend of mine. I mean, I tell people all the time, and it's not any disrespect to my own parents, who I love with all my heart, but when you lose a friend, it's different than losing a family member. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, it hurt really bad when I lost my parents. But when I lost Richard, it was different because I didn't text my parents during the day, call me when you get a second. You know, the dark humor that you share with people who are buddies, it's not the same as your parents. So when you lose a friend, a very close friend, somebody that you do things with a lot, and somebody who you communicate a lot with, especially now that we have mobile devices and whatnot, it's just different than a parent. I know this. It just is. So it was really hurtful for me when I lost Richard, when he passed away. And Richard was the guy who sold me the FN57 back whenever I got it. And he was smart enough to tell me, at the time it was a hot gun. And he said, you need to buy as many of these rounds as you can because they'll be hard to come by. So I bought quite a few, like hundreds of them. I don't think I got thousands, but hundreds for sure. And like 6 months later, I hadn't even shot the gun yet. I bought like hundreds more just to make sure. And right now, they're hard to find. You can find them. You got to look. You can find them. But I got all that I need. Okay, you guys are sending some questions or comments my way. Let me get in here. Let's see. Jason Fisher says, you think Canada will win any possible legal battles? Man, Canada, okay, with Justin Trudeau, that says a lot right there. This guy is a figurehead. He's a face. He's kind of like a younger Joe Biden. He's kind of stupid, but he's popular for some reason. I don't know what it is. But they outlawed today assault weapon. Actually, I'm sorry, not even assault weapons. Assault style weapons. Now they've gone from calling things assault weapons because we call them out whenever they say this is an assault weapon. Now they're saying assault style weapons. And the way they're quantifying that is they're saying that if the weapon accepts a detachable magazine, has a threaded barrel, a pistol grip, a number of things. And it's not two like it was before. Back in the 90s, the Clinton assault weapons ban was any two of these things. Now it's like one. If it's any one of these things, they're calling that an assault weapon. Assault style weapon. That's what Canada has outlawed as of today because of their shooting last week or earlier this week, I think it was. It was a guy impersonating a Royal Mounted Canadian police officer. Shot people up. I guess I kind of don't understand how somebody can take a late model vehicle like he had and decal it up with Royal Canadian Mounted Police decals and nobody notices. Somebody had to print those out. But nevertheless, it happened. So anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen in Canada because that's a different beast up there, man. I mean, unfortunately, don't have the Constitution that the United States has. They don't have the Second Amendment that we have. You know, you got gun laws, but they're not like ours. They're not rock solid, as ironclad as I feel like ours should be. They're not. So who knows? You know, who knows what's going to happen there? Let's see. Mr. FNH says, start shooting bird shots. It's still available and cheap. Fun to ring steel with it. It absolutely is. Roger Kaiser says, how about those boys in Michigan at the State House? What the hell is going on in Michigan? I mean, that governor is wacko. She's overplayed her hand, if you will. There was a time whenever the Michigan governor was looked at as a potential running mate for Joe Biden as a vice president. Not now. They need Michigan. She has crapped in her own bed so badly that even if she were Joe Biden's running mate, which he'd probably molest her or rape her anyway, but they would lose Michigan. People would vote against her. So she's gone. She's history. She's of no use to the Democrat Party anymore. But yes, kudos to our brothers out there who took their weapons, put them on their backs, and walked to the Michigan State House and said, we ain't taking this. We're not staying home. We're going out. We're going to work. We're doing what we normally would do. All this crap is a hoax. I will use the word hoax. I don't believe 100% of this stuff is made up, but I do believe that in general, it could be qualified and quantified as a general hoax. And that's what those guys in Michigan are tired of. And I think across the country, to be quite honest with you. All right, guys, let's see. Let me go more to your comments. Let's see. Pee Wee says, Canadians need to fix their problems like men bitching and belly aching does not work. Has protests and petitions become ineffective? I think protests and petitions are still effective. I think if it's done in a professional, like non-aggressive way, that protests are still very effective. Once you cross that line and become non-professional and more aggressive, the aggression makes it not quite so palatable at that point, and I feel like you lose what you're going for. So obviously we have to always stay, professional about all of that stuff. But nevertheless, I mean that's I feel like that all still works. The opposition of the crazy mandates that our government tries to push on us. I feel like if you do it in the right way, it's still delivered in a responsible way. But at the same time, some people are not willing to accept the truth, no matter how much you hand wrap it and gift wrap it. A lot of Americans, I truly feel that I don't know that they're ready for the true freedom that the Constitution affords them. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not ready for that. Maybe maybe they can't handle, and it could be them calling themselves out indirectly, that they're not capable of being responsible like we are when it comes to the Constitution. Because I don't need to be reminded on a regular basis that I don't have the right to go into somebody else's house and take their stuff. I don't need that. For one, there's a constitutional amendment that tells me I can't do that. For two, there's a morality issue. Whether it's Bible-based or whether it's just morally based, there is a morality issue that tells me I don't go into somebody else's house and take their stuff. You follow me? I don't really need a law to tell me that. I kind of have that up here, and I have it right here. So the fact that some of these people need to have it in writing sometimes to keep them from doing these things, that's almost a red flag in and of itself, because it tells me maybe you're not emotionally equipped to live life as a normal human being should. So again, I don't want to get off into psychological stuff, because I have a very weird view of the unaverage American, because I feel like most of us are average and we think the same way, but there's a percentage of people out there that I feel like are not quite wired right, and they've all voted for Hillary last time, but nevertheless. I see a bunch of you guys calling me out, so let me, let's see. Yeah, Jennifer, we talked, or Jennings, I'm sorry, Jennings flipping, we just talked about that. Jennings says, Canada just outlawed assault rifles, slavery on the way. You're right, brother. I mean, slavery is right behind taking all the guns away, because once you can't defend yourself, you won't defend yourself. Let's see here. Monty says, what will pathetic Pelosi go for next? Pelosi will go for more money for people to sit on their asses and sit at home, and for businesses not to get anything. The ultimate goal for the left is to prolong this for as long as they possibly can, so that they can, in their own minds, justify mail-in ballots by the time November rolls around, so they can, I don't know how, but unseat Donald Trump. And I'm not saying this in support of Donald Trump necessarily, because again, you guys know my feelings on his Second Amendment stance. The fact that they chose and settled on Joe Biden as their candidate to unseat Donald Trump tells me that they are not serious about winning this election. So I feel like they kind of mailed it in. They phoned it in. They said, screw it. We can't win. Let's don't use any of the candidates that might be able to beat Trump. Let's just throw Joe Biden out there because we know he's a dipshit. Again, excuse me for the kids out there. So let's throw Biden out there, get him out of the way, make him think he's important. That way we can kind of halfway keep Obama, because they need Obama saying good things about their candidate. If Obama's not behind the candidate, most of your African American vote will not go vote for that person. So they got to keep Obama in the mix. And anybody that wants to call me racist, let me just point out that 95% of black people voted for Barack Obama when he ran, where before that they never, a lot of them never voted. So they only voted for him because he was black in melatonin. So anyway, we're looking at trying to get Biden in there, and by keeping Barack Obama in the mix, that keeps kinda the black vote in there, even though there's plenty of black folks out there that know Joe Biden is an idiot and a racist and a rapist. So he really doesn't stand a chance. He's gonna get his butt kicked. So I feel like the Democratic Party has thrown him in there to go against Donald Trump, knowing that he can't win, and they'll run their real candidate the next time against Mike Pence when Mike Pence runs. I'm calling it right now. Trump will absolutely destroy Joe Biden in the upcoming election. Even if the anti-gun, anti-left, anti-American Democrats out there, or even if they're successful at getting mail-in ballots, even with the fraud and corruption involved with mail-in ballots, Donald Trump will absolutely crush Joe Biden. I'm calling it now. This video will stay up. I will not delete it. You will see it. And again, this ain't me crying for Trump to win. Because again, I have my problems with Trump and the Second Amendment. I would be standing on a mountaintop screaming my support for Donald Trump if Donald Trump would come out in full favor of the Second Amendment. He has not. But I'm still calling it. Trump will destroy Joe Biden. Joe Biden he's nothing. That's a creepy bastard too. Let's see here. Jim Johnson says, is there a specific rifle as first one you'd recommend for someone who has only owned handguns? You know, Jim, just like a lot of the folks on here, and hopefully some people, I'll read down later to see if anybody's commented to your or responded to your question. I'm sure we have some really knowledgeable folks that watch our live streams in here, so somebody's probably already answered your question. It depends on what you're using it for. You know, is it home defense? Is it for hunting purposes? You know, you have the gamut of having a bolt action, a semi-automatic, and an AR pistol, or AR platform. You could go with an AR pistol. You could go with a carbine. So there's so many things you could go for. Personally, one of the most versatile ones out there, I would honestly say, is probably not a bad idea to get an AR pistol with an SB Tactical brace on it. And I tell you that because you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get the smallness of close quarters, being able to do some CQB stuff, close quarter combat. But you still have that long range round that can get out there, an intermediate round that can go a little ways out there. You can also customize the heck out of it. You know what I mean? You could buy a rock bottom, upper lower rifle, barrel combination. and really customize the heck out of that thing. So there's so much you can do with anything in that 5.56 round. That's what I would probably mostly recommend. However, with that being said, don't discount something in a pistol caliber carbine. And again, not knowing what you're using that for, that's why I bring that up. If you were looking for something truly in a rifle format, you probably want to stick with that 5.56 round. Again, if you're trying to go even farther out than 5.56, not even what you're looking for. You're looking for, a 308. There's tons of other rounds, 6.5, that you want to look to really get out there and be accurate. So I mentioned the PCC in case it's something that you're looking at for home defense, more in a larger platform. If you're looking for something that's just strictly in a larger platform, that you're not looking to really reach out there with your round, then you might consider a pistol caliber carbine, something in 9mm, but in that same AR-15 type platform. Let's see. Roger Kaiser says, did you see CNN is getting out of the ammo business? Oh, CDNN. I did not see that. I did not see that. Let's see here. Okay. Well, Jim says more home defense, not hunting. Excuse me one second. Again, I would probably move towards, you do have a little bit of penetration of the 5.56 round in sheetrock or whatever if you're using it for home defense. I just feel like, especially when it comes to budget, if it's strictly within the walls of your own home, I feel like a pistol caliber carbine is a really good option. Because if you're truly defending somebody, you never need the distance and the reach that you're going to have with a rifle round to be able to reach somebody. Because you shouldn't be shooting that far anyway. If that person is so far away that you need an intermediate round to get out there to 200 yards, they are not a true threat. So I feel like kind of a, let's see here. I got one right here. While this is not necessarily a pistol caliber carbine, this is a Galil, by the way, IWI. Something that's small like this. Notice how from here to here, how it's relatively small. Your muzzle right here, and I'm not in front of the muzzle, I'm on the side of the muzzle. It's not loaded. No guns up here loaded. You see how small it is. Well, if you were inside your home and you were shooting a 9mm out of something that was this size, you're going to be able to maneuver, within your home. But at the same time, you're not going to have such a violent recoil that you need to shoulder this thing. You can actually shoot a 9mm PCC in an AR-15 platform, AR pistol platform, whichever. You could shoot it like this. You could shoot it with a sling that was wrapped around your shoulder and push it forward. You could do all that and not be overwhelmed by the recoil. So I would probably recommend you look into, let's see, I think Faxon has something out there. I know, Freedom Ordnance has something out there. A bunch of them have stuff out there that's in kind of an AR-15 platform, chambered in 9mm. And again, hate to say it, I know it sounds like a cliche. You might want to get it with Glock magazines, that it accepts Glock magazines if you get one in 9mm, because that way you have the versatility to be able to use your Glock magazines in your handgun and your home defense gun. So, let's see. Guys, it's time for me to get out of here. It's 8:05. All right, guys, I'm just going to say this one more time. Please go do what you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you where you can go, what you have to wear, what you can do when you get there. We really do have the Constitution of the United States of America. And it is a beautifully written document. It is a wonderful document. Oh my God, and it's short. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights, it is not overwhelming to read. When I looked into the Bill of Rights, and I didn't want to when I was in middle school, it wasn't too fun to read about. I remember how much I hated it. I remember how much I hated memorizing lines from the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. But boy, as an adult, I have learned that sucker backwards and forwards. We've got a lot of really cool freedoms in this country. And during this pandemic, our federal, local, and state governments are really testing their authority. And not really testing their own authority. I think they're testing us to see what we're willing to put up with, to see how far they can push us, to see what we're willing to take before we push back. I'm pushing back. I'm not starting a fire. I'm not going to go to my city hall and shoot the place up. I'm not going to go set a bonfire in the middle of the biggest street in Lake Charles. That's not my style. I'm not that kind of guy. Those are the wrong ways to do it. What I will do is I will do whatever I want within the confines of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's what I will do. Because no matter what anybody tells me, no matter what kind of crazy Chinese pandemic we have, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights still are the law of the land. No matter what anybody says. I don't care what our governor says. I don't care what our mayor says. It doesn't matter to me. Don't care. Don't care. I do know what the Bill of Rights says. I do know what the Constitution says. And those guys have zero authority over me and you when it comes to what they're trying to do right now. And we need to make that very clear to them. And kudos to Michigan for standing up for what they're doing right now. Big time hats off to those guys. More states ought to do that whenever those governors try to push like that and overstep their own authority and their own rights. Guys, I'm going to see you next Friday. Look for a bunch of videos coming out this week, probably this weekend. I should have at least two coming out this weekend. If you guys are in the Lake Charles, Louisiana, South Louisiana, or Texas area, remember my show comes on Fox 29 at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings, right after the Chris Wallace Fox News show. And you can always catch my show. So, guys, we will see you next Friday night. Hope to see you then.